Morning everyone. Well, there we are at my mother's house again, which means we're going fishing in the Witham. We're on the Witham at Kirkstead Bridge, and the trouble we're having is finding a spot that's weed free. I don't know if you can see, but a swim like this, it's just too weedy to fish. We've just come along a short way and it seems like we've found a really good little spot here for me, and there's another one for my brother and Dan further down, so should be okay. Right, now I've got to turn this pile of bits into something to go fishing with. I'm going to be feeder fishing, and I've got this twin tip rod that has a feeder tip or a tip for swing tipping or float fishing, so obviously be using the quiver tip for the feeder. There we are then. Took a while, but we're just about there now. I don't know if you can see, there are fishes at my feet just here. Well, I'm not sure about the weather in rural France today, but in rural Lincolnshire it's baking. There's a cloud or two in the sky, but it's still really hot and close. Well, even though the fishing's very slow, the fauna and flora are pretty interesting. This thing here is about 6 feet tall. Giant leaves. I don't know if I can put my hand in the frame and you can see, but they're pretty big leaves. And these thistly balls just seem to catch on everything. Well, this is part of the problem today. There's a lot of weed on the bottom and on the line. Okay, well, since I'm not catching much, let's go and see what brother Rich and nephew Dan are doing if we can. Let's have a look. I'll just flip the camera around. Now then, Rich, how's it going? One little roach. About 10 feet deep. Yeah, pretty deep then. And you switched from feeder fishing to float fishing because the feeder wasn't turning anything up. Just weed, yeah, I've had that problem with a lot of weed as well. There we are. I was thinking about tiddler snatching with a whip or a little waggler or something maybe.
The chap who just took the money from tickets, just said they fish with poles. They just fish over, you know, a couple of rod lengths out for small fish and fish for tench. That's how
they fish for tench with a pole.
Just on small fish.
Right. Would be nice to catch a tench, wouldn't it?
Too much weed.
Too weedy. Now then, Dan.
Right.
Yeah? What's the story?
I'm catching a few small fish, but bites are a bit finicky and getting a lot of missed bites, small fish.
Are you on the feeder, yeah?
Yeah, fishing feeder, straight down the middle.
In the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same. What you got there, sir?
So, I put a changeable swivel on the line.
Yeah.
Then a float stop.
Yeah.
Then I tie a loop, so the float stop hits the loop.
Yeah.
Then that's almost like a couple of other loops to attach your hook link to. It just acts as a boom look, so it sits out.
Yeah,
over
I
the feeder.
see. Yeah.
And if you cast to the clip, it never tangles.
Right.
So it's
Cool.
a brilliant rig for being tangle free.
Just a couple of maggots or
Couple
something?
of maggots. I keep chopping and changing. Keep keep trying to do little bits and pieces different just to get a couple of bites.
Yeah.
So I'll fish a couple of feeders full, quite sloppy ground bait to draw a few fish in, and then a bit stiffer just to bring them back down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Cast out straight down the middle to the clip, let it hit the bottom. The key is when you cast into the clip, you always want your rod tip in the same position when it hits the bottom.
Right.
So you know that it's touching, it's basically hitting bottom in the same spot.
Right.
Right there.
Ian?
Not sure. A lot of the fish are straight away.
No. Oh yeah, a little thing. It's not a monster, is it?
So,
It's all fish.
baby skinner.
Yeah.
Lovely.
As usual, I've got the essential supplies of all anglers. No, I don't mean maggots or sweet corn. I mean Mr. Kipling apple pies and a flask of tea. So for a bit of fun, I've put the feeder rod away and I've got out a small whip, and I'm catching these kind of little roach and silver bream and rudd pretty much every cast. Oh, here's a little perch. Now this is a little fish I don't think I've caught many of. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a dace, because it's slender. It's not like a little bream, a little silver bream, and it hasn't got any of the red tints that roach or rudd have got. Rudd are a much more olivey coloured fish. I'm using a little float that I made myself years ago. Maybe I've only ever used it once or twice, but anyway, it's doing the job today. It's a little bit of reed with a tiny cork body on it. You see, this tiny silver bream has much more of an oval shape to the body than that dace did. Well, here we are then, the end of a very pleasant day. What do I make of it all? Well, didn't catch any bream, which is what we really came for. But then I caught a bag full of little silver fish, which was good fun. And I've just been immersed in this beautiful nature, which I think has got to be a pretty good way to spend a day. Yeah, all in all, very nice.